All right.
1, 2, 3.
Pitch or shift. I guess they never shift, huh? Yeah, close enough.
We're on the same wavelength.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Pitch Shift episode 2, 3.
It's an episode, that's for sure.
It's so much an episode.
Yes, welcome to the latest episode of Pitch Shift, the only show on the internet with two men sitting in a room and talking about things. Don't fact check that.
The only show.
We're the only show that has quirky little audio bits like this.
Have y'all ever seen Wreck-It Ralph?
Have you?
Soundboard in about 20 minutes. And you're gonna hate it for the rest of time.
But it sounds like it was compiled in 20 hours with a variety of great things, such as this is the humdinger.
Monkey.
I didn't even think you clicked anything. I think it just wanted to play that.
It did. It wanted it so bad.
Monkey. But would you like to tell the audience at home what we're talking about today?
Would I? Oh, man. So, that classic movie, Son of the Mask, that's what we're going to be talking about today. No, we're going to be talking about the sequel to that. The sequel that we are making is called Mask 3. We didn't decide on a subtitle, did we? Should it have a subtitle? Should it just ignore Son of the Mask?
It should ignore the continuity established in Son of the Mask. We're purists. We're only going off the original Mask movie. And even that, I think it's basically just a reboot. Count this in the same camp as that Hellboy movie.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's a reboot instead of a third movie, and it's worse.
Yeah, the Dark Ages, and for good fucking reason.
In case you're wondering what we're referencing, watch the 2019 Hellboy. One of the first things that happens in the movie is a narrator, Ian McShane, goes, whatever year, the Dark Ages, and for good fucking reason. And that's how you know you're off to a great start.
And then they cut off Mila Jovovich's head, and then Merlin is in the movie, so is King Arthur.
Yeah, that was just... Merlin and King Arthur just kept showing up in movies they weren't supposed to fucking be in. They were in the Transformers movie, too. One of the first lines spoken by a human in that movie is Stanley Tucci as Merlin. Mind you, after playing a different character in the previous movie, shows up as Merlin just drinking and goes, "Oh, I'm suzzled." And then he continues to ride off to go get a staff to command a dragon. That's how the 5th Transformers movie starts.
Was he a different character, or was Merlin always around, and he changed his identity?
That's the secret. That they should have established that twist, because Stanley Tucci's not in the 5th movie outside of that scene, so that would be pretty good.
Hell yeah, dude. So, we are talking about... Oh, yeah, we're getting our movie sponsored by Pitch Shift. Yeah,
we're sponsoring our own film.
We're getting it sponsored by Pure Flix. Because it's pure Mask Kino.
We could probably get that guy who's in all the Pure Flix movies, that, like, pastor. I think his name is, like, David R. White or something like that.
Yeah, more like David is White. That guy is just trying to be like boneless John Wick so bad. He looks like Sammy Hagar.
He does look like Sammy Hagar.
He goes to Sammy Hagar's house. He's like, "Who are you? I'm you, but better."
You, but holier.
He's just full of holes. That's why he never takes his shirt off, despite being kind of a buff dude.
It's all part of his ruse. He's taking us on the ruse cruise.
Oh,
and we didn't even pay our tickets.
Yeah, we're just stowaways on the ruse cruise. we rused ourselves on this cruise.
We're off to a rollicking good start.
As always.
Sammy Hagar and Pure Flix. So yeah, we're pitching a new Mask movie, which I guess you could say is closer to the comic books in that it's going to be fucking violent and disgusting.
It's going to be horrible, for sure. And Lobo's going to show up. It's going to be awesome. So our placeholder title is Mask 3, Return of Jafar, because we didn't come up with something, although we do have something later. So the movie is going to be a dark and gritty, shittily color-corrected Zack Snyder-esque serious drama, because it's for grown-ups. This movie
is truly for grown-ups.
Yeah, a movie about a green cartoon character bonking people on the heads with a hammer is for grown-ups. It's gonna have a cold open before, like, after, like, the production title crawls. It's gonna have a cold open of a guy saying, "Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance." and it's gonna be.
Should we get the here audience at home? Join us in standing up for the Pledge Allegiance to the mask.
It's gonna be 15 to 30 seconds of just like black screen, and then it's going to have like a red, white, and green flag just flapping in the background with no music, and then it says "I pledge allegiance to the mask," and then halfway through it just cuts to the opening title crawl.
This was just something in what we just found this when we were looking up The Mask. Was it something that's from the comic or what?
Yeah, it was a comic storyline. I think it was a Screen Rant thing. A source in the description. Just kidding.
That's more than they do. They just fucking rip off people's videos and then credit them.
And so it was a Screen Rant thing where it's like 5 ways the movie's better than the comic, and 5 ways it's worse. And it's like, oh, there's no political satire in my goofy movie where Jim Carrey plays a feel-good meat cute movie.
He's filled with meat, all right.
Yeah, he's just a meat cube in that movie. He's been trying to use this meat cube as a fleshlight. But enough about Cameron Diaz. That's the only movie she actually looks hot in.
Yeah.
I'm not here to body shame.
We're allowed to have our preferences.
Yeah,
this woman will never meet.
Yeah, I prefer her in Shrek when she was Ogre Fiona. Like, I like a little meat in my bones.
Boger.
Yeah. Oh, shit, honey. My boger's so hard. I'm diamonds.
Relax, honey. It's just the boger. So I'm not losing my mind. But, yeah, so the movie starts off with the Pledge Allegiance to the Mask, this iconic part of the character, maybe.
Yes, truly a movie for our hardened times, bringing it back to the boger.
And,
it's all a big part of our mass writing campaign to fuck up the election by having writing votes for the mask.
Everybody's gonna write in for the mask. And then, it's gonna be like that Robin Williams movie that I talked about. I don't think we were recording, but I talked about it before, and I don't know what the plot is, but I'm pretty sure the plot is he's like a comedian who runs for president and then actually gets elected president. We're gonna have that happen with the mask, and then we're gonna find out the mask is real and he's actually gonna be the president.
Yeah, the mask is the president of Israel.
It was just that part of the fucking Rem Lazar Red Letter Media where they're just like, make Rem Lazar more real, and Mike or what the fuck's Josh? I always call him Mike because he looks like the Mike we know.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike. And I looked at the wrong camera. Hey, Mike.
That's leaving. That's CNN.
And the one's like, oh, it makes Rem Lazar be more real, and Josh is just like, more real. Rem Lazar is real. Rem Lazar is real.
Yeah, Rem Lazar did 9/11.
Speaking of cameras, you're getting primo content. I'm adjusting Steve's camera because he's a tall freak of nature.
It's true. I can't help my genetics. Why was I cursed with being tall?
You're like that fucking Netflix movie, Tall Girl.
And that it's a tall girl and living in a short world.
There's a Cosmonaut Variety Hour video where they watch that, and the one guy's just like, tall girl, oh, that's such a low blow for a tall girl. We should watch Tall Girl.
Yeah, tune in next time for our Tall Girl sequel, Taller Girl.
Tuna for next time.
And then that's going to tie into Gone Girl. You're going to wish you were gone, girl.
Have you seen that screenshot of Gone Girl? It's just like, it's true. My wife has become a Gone Girl.
Simultaneously, I hate and love that meme. Like, the best one I saw was at the end of, like, Resident Evil 0 when Rebecca's talking to Billy, Resident Evil Billy, and she's like, we did it, Billy. There are now 0 Resident Evils.
Resident Evil sounds like it should take place in a hospital when you think about it.
Yeah, just like that fantastic movie Diary of the Dead.
Oh yeah, that movie's a piece of shit. Like, I like George A. Romero. I think most of the Dead movies are pretty good, but that one's just fucking bad.
Yeah, what is it, Diary of the Dead?
The one that's like a found footage one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's...
And they use MySpace to break the news that the apocalypse is happening. You gotta spread the truth on my space, dude.
The only thing I really remember about that movie is there's a scene where, like, a guy's bitten and he's, like, about to come back, so, like, his girlfriend is just sort of sitting at the feet of his body, and just as soon as he gets back up, she just shoots him again. And it's, like, this big dramatic moment, but it's just so fucking funny for some reason.
I don't know, what else to make, like Land of the Dead? That movie kind of, when I saw that I was a babby, I saw bits and pieces of it, and I remember there was this one scene where, like, it's like a silhouette, like a shadow of a guy's hand, like, getting ripped in half, like the Zambos, like, grab my other fingers, and then they just pull like that, and it rips the hand in half, like, and I'm like, oh, like, you have to imagine it. It's just gross.
That's how the zombies do wishbones, to see who got their wish, or whatever the fuck the point of wishbones are, I don't know.
Yeah, why, of all the things to make, to name your fucking, what's it called, ranch dressing sauce after, like, the company...
I thought you were going to say all the things to name your tiny dog that reads literature to children.
Come here, Wishbone. Like, of all the things to name your company, why Wishbone? That's the last thing I want to think about when I have my fucking blue cheese. I gotta, this just as well, this blue cheese is all bones.
It's ground up bones and milk. That's what Wishbone dressing is.
Speaking of dressing, before we go any further...
Speaking of dressing, we made our own.
To us... This is actually gin.
We're trying to live out our dream of becoming Gin Genie. Gin tastes like cleaning product.
It tastes like genies.
I was actually going to text you earlier because for some reason I just remembered you had a bottle of Beefeater.
Yeah.
And I was just going to text you, Beefeater, I hardly know her.
Banger, I hardly know her. So, we have our Pledge Allegiance of the Mask out of the way. And it's going to go through like a little comic... The mask itself is somewhat sentient, and it goes through little comical phases where it tries to attach itself to people's faces. We have Dave Bautista of Guardians of the Galaxy fame in the movie. And the mask is going to try to attach itself to Bautista's face, and it just kind of falls off and goes into the gutter.
This is actually something taken from the comics in the, I believe, the first thing of the mask, and my mouth just tastes like I just licked a fucking carpet at a hotel. But in the mask, towards the end of it, there's like a villain who, if I remember correctly, starts off kind of like skinnier, like more muscular. Like he's always jacked, but I believe he starts off more sort of wiry, and then over the course he becomes like more jacked. Or this doesn't happen, and I'm misremembering something I read once many years ago. The choice is yours. But there's this big huge guy, and he wants to get the mask, and then he finally gets the mask, and he puts it on, and it just kind of falls off his face. And it's that type of thing where it's like, I've noticed this more and more recently, where you can do certain things in a comic that would be considered like tone shifty, or stuff like that in a movie.
Pitch shifty.
Yeah, pitch shift. I guess they never shift, huh?
Is pitch shitty.
But they in the comic, like, it'll be incredibly violent, just like disturbingly violent. Like, the mask has the ability to just make somebody else's face, and then to get rid of this disguise, he rips off that face, and it's horrifying. There's just a panel, maybe I'll put this in the video cast, there's just a panel where he's like ripping off his face, and there's like blood and shit underneath this fake disguise he's made. It's like, why does there need to be blood there?
Because he is the master of disguise.
He's the true master. He was the turtle all along. Oh, they should have got Dana Carvey to play the turtle in it, Chapter 2.
You were saying last time when we were like coming up with this and writing it on the whiteboard and stuff, how in the Jim Carrey movie, he just shoves like a bunch of like mufflers or some shit up someone's ass.
Yeah, that's something that
you can't get away with. I mean, not to sound like a fucking Jerry Seinfeld. More on him later.
You can't get away with sexual assault in a happy-go-lucky movie anymore. What's the world coming to?
What do you mean I can't go to this college, sir? You have a PFA against most of the students here? What's the deal with that?
I just love, we'll talk more about him in a moment, but I just seriously love, I don't want to play at colleges anymore. They don't laugh at my jokes because the awkward air is too much after I had sex with most of the women. And the guys don't like me either. What's the deal with that?
Yeah, I dropped the girls off at their classes. I'm like, you're coming to my set later, right?
Do you like our Seinfeld impressions? It's mainly yelling.
It's mainly just Marty for, oh, jeez.
Mine just sounds more like the fucking, the squeaky voiced teen from The Simpsons. I think I mentioned that in the first episode when my voice just cracked at one point.
Yeah, this is a callback to something that happened 2 weeks ago.
This is a callback to our established continuity. Catch it on the soundboard that you don't have access to. We can make this public. Who gives a shit?
Who gives a shift?
I think, I don't know for sure, but I think there might be a way where I can make this public and people could, like, add sounds to it.
Yeah.
So, stay tuned for more info on that if you want to make this go even further off the fucking rails.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys will use your powers for good. So, we have Dave Bautista out of the way, and we have David Bautista out of the way.
Oh, yeah, did we say he was playing? He's playing a big, like, strong guy who can't wear the mask. And
Yeah.
then who else is in this?
Yeah, he's really stretching his creative muscles.
Oh, wait, we need to build up some drama and some tension. Hold on, we'll do a drum roll to reveal who's next cast in the movie.
Hell yeah.
I can already tell by the audio waves. I'm gonna have to add that in later. We heard that. You have just heard what is probably a much louder version of it that you could tell was not recorded in this room, but we tried.
We tried so hard and got so hard, and in the end, I got hard.
That is a drum roll from the group The Shags, and if maybe we'll talk about this more in a future episode because I find the whole thing fucking fascinating.
No, let's not talk about it now.
Yeah, I might as well. Well, that doesn't mean we won't talk about it in future episodes. We have like 4 things we talk about. If anything, this podcast is a record of our dementia.
Yeah, for everyone playing at home, keep a tally of how many times that we go off track, and in lieu of going off track from our actual topic.
Well, the whole show is us. That was the whole conceit of the show is we get off track. There was a group called, Steve is aware of this, there was a group called The Shags that their dad wanted them to be musicians, but he didn't let them listen to music. He essentially kept them in a dark room and taught them music theory and didn't let them listen to music. So when they played music together, it's the worst thing you'll ever hear. Just look up The Shags.
What was that one we found, like Mr. Puyon?
It was called My Pal Foot. That's another thing. It's one thing. It's like, oh, you wrote these beautiful, deep lyrics, but it's clearly meant to be a stupid song to begin with.
Yeah, is this like this long control by their dad, just keeping them feral, locked up in a basement with nothing but instruments?
That's basically, my brother when he was younger had a joke that when he had kids, he would just leave one of them in a room for 18 years and then unleash them upon the world, and his name would be Monkey Boy. And that's basically what this guy just actually did, except he forced them to make music, and now we all have to suffer through it. That drum roll is from My Pal Foot.
I thought you were going to say your brother was going to lock his kid up in a room and make him listen to nothing but The Shags.
Now we need to take it the next step. Some parent needs to do that. They don't even teach their kids music theory. They just let their kids listen to The Shags. And they're like, this is what music is. You will make this.
And my all Shags cover band, The Rags.
But, so yeah, there's go look up The Shags.
Yeah, look up their sheet music. They have sheet music transcribed and they play it live. People show up for this.
Yeah, at least they're getting something out of that. I feel like if you did something like that and it was just okay music, just nothing to write home about, then that wouldn't be like, you either need to be great, like the best music that's ever made, or you need to be whatever the fuck the Shags actually are. Sounds?
Yeah, dude, nothing is bad. Nothing is no such thing as bad PR. No such thing as bad Puerto Rico.
But speaking of Puerto Rico, The Mask. If you're wondering what that has to do with it, nothing.
Nothing. It's all shot on location in San Juan during a hurricane. That's why you that's why you pledge allegiance to the mask one last time before you get swept up in a wave.
That's it. That's why it got cut off. That was all the mask recording we got before the tsunami took everything away.
Yeah, and then Mark Zuckerberg just walks by my broken house in a fucking stupid emoji cam car, saying, "Oh, look how great Facebook VR is, guys." Just like I'm just dragging my fucking severed leg through the street.
I will never forget that as long as I live. Just right after a major hurricane or something, they're just like, look at all this shit you can do with Facebook VR. You can stand shin deep in a fucking puddle that used to be someone's house. Ain't this weird?
You can stand waist deep in a pile of babies.
You could just go into someone's house and you know what you could do? That makes sense with how I worded it? No, but I fucking made a soundboard. I'm using it, goddammit.
Hell yeah. Speaking of using, Jerry Seinfeld uses teenage girls.
Jerry Seinfeld, that's what we were talking about. He's in the movie.
He's the main character. He's Stanley Ipkiss.
That's right. I already tried to block all this out of my fucking memory. He plays the main character, Stanley Ipkiss, and now most of you are probably going, oh, so he plays the mask. No.
Not at all, sir. For when he puts on the mask, he becomes Willem Dafoe. And it's the closest we're going to get to Willem Dafoe playing the Joker. And he was just going to have him fucking go off the rails with it.
I mean, it all comes together because apparently when the Joker puts on the mask, he's unaffected by its insanity. But also apparently when the Joker works with a man that's walking around in a trench coat with a big swastika on his chest, for whatever reason, he can't piece together that he's a Nazi. And when he comes to this conclusion, he's very offended, and he says the line, I may be a psychopath, but I'm an American psychopath. I should clarify to anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, this is a real fucking thing. Fucking the Joker met Red Skull, and he's like, oh, you're a Nazi? I thought that was just a costume. I thought you were just dressing up like an SS officer. I didn't think you were, I thought the whole giant swastika on your chest, instead of like an emblem or anything, I thought that was just all for laughs, you know?
What's the deal with this guy wearing a big swastika on his chest? Turns out he's a Nazi? Why didn't anyone tell me?
It's just Toast of London. He said he has Jewish friends, but he just says the numbers don't add up.
He was arrested for, get this, Holocaust denial.
Yeah, go seek that out. It just fucking occurred to me that one's Marvel and one's DC. So that's from one of the crossover events, which means that panel is so many years in the making and so many failed deals to just produce, I may be a psychopath, but I'm an American psychopath.
Yeah, I'll play anyone, a Nazi, but I wouldn't go that far.
We should get fucking Matt Berry to be the next Joker.
We should get Matt Berry on the show.
We should get Matt Berry on the show.
Hell yeah.
Matt Berry, if you're listening, we know you are. Come on the show and regret it.
Just regret it. Forget it. Enjoy the show. Party time. It's party time.
I gotta put that on soundboard.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so as we were saying, Jerry Seinfeld plays Stanley Ipkiss, and when he puts on Loki's mask, we're keeping that, it's the mask of Loki, when he puts it on, he turns into Willem Dafoe. And instead of doing any of the iconic mask outfits, do you want to tell the public at home what we've got this guy wearing?
So we have a burlap sack blazer with no shirt underneath, with also burlap sack booties and a burlap sack fedora. And on the burlap sack blazer, he got a Sharpie and he drew like shakily hand pinstripes on it. And he wears a diaper with a little pin, like a bobby pin on it. And he goes down the street singing his own theme song, saying, I'm the mask, I'm the mask, I'm the mask, I'm the mask. If there's a place you gotta go, then my dick says you can blow like I'm the mask. I'm the mask, I'm the mask. If there's a place you gotta get, I'll fuck you there with my strap. I'm the mask. And no one's paying him any mind because it's New York. Like that one time we went to New York and some guy was handing out his album. And he's like, hey man, listen to my album. And I just aped Eric Andre. I'm like, I'm from fucking hell. And then the guy's like, yeah, me too, bro. That was a good day. We saw like Last Animals that day in Hell's Kitchen.
We did. And they closed the show with a Kanye song.
Yeah, Kanye cares.
Yeah, they're actually running for president. It's all a ruse. It's not Kanye. It's the Glass Animals. I listened to their latest album, and I don't know. Maybe I need to listen to it again, and just sit down and actually pay attention. But I wasn't really feeling it the first time I listened to it.
You're just saying that because you saw Fantana's review of it first, you plebeian.
No, I was saying that because I saw Fantana's review, and I'd be like, this is awful.
Yeah. Yeah, it just blows up.
That's it. I mean, I don't want to call out a more successful content creator who's never going to see this anyway. But
No, this is exclusively a Melon call-out channel now.
all my homies hate Anthony Fantano.
Fuck Anthony Fantano. All my homies hate Anthony Fantano.
That's just the one thing. Is again, I don't want to specifically target anybody, but I feel like there's some people who seemed like they were normal at one point. But over the years, just like it's the same with becoming a celebrity when you were just like a normal guy. Like it's a wonder that fucking John Hamm is apparently one of the nicest people.
Yeah,
Because
right.
like I think to become a psychopath, you either need to be just inundated, like just from the get-go, from ever since you're a kid, like you're awesome, you're an actor.
Yeah.
Or you spend most of your life as a normal person, and then you get famous, and then it just immediately goes to your head. And I think that's what it is for some YouTubers, because some of, I don't want to say have bought their own hype, but there was one YouTuber, who again, I won't name, but,
Onision?
but it was Onision. It wasn't Onision.
We should make a Jared Leto led biopic Onision movie.
That'd be very fitting.
It would be.
They remind me of each other.
They're both vegan.
They both make terrible music.
They both make terrible YouTube videos. And
They both have played the Joker. Just granted, one's in a movie and one's just in real life.
is he one of those guys that made like Joker music videos?
No, I don't think so. I think even he had a cringe line that he wouldn't cross.
Without
Don't
saying
cross my cringe line, Crow. Instead of bro.
Yeah, Russell Crowe.
Don't cross my cringe line, Russell Crowe. I don't want to see Unhinged. Welcome to the Unhinged podcast, where we exclusively talk about the Russell Crowe movie nobody saw, including the people who paid to see it. But
Yeah, I wouldn't know anyone like that.
we ate chicken in the back of an SUV.
Yeah, we were trying to emulate Thanos, our hero.
Our true hero. But yeah, there was this one YouTuber who somebody we watched recently made a video where they just sort of briefly mentioned them, and this person got like way too butthurt about it, and it was the type of thing where it was just like a passing comment, like, oh, this person is like
Dumb, stupid.
yeah, and the person was just like, I just found out some YouTuber I don't even like watch said some mean things about me. Oh well, it's like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
like that's one thing. It's like I know it hurts to like have people say mean things about you, but it was literally just like, oh, this person's annoying. It's like, if that's your baseline for what like cuts you to your core and like you need to make a statement about it, it's like, eh.
Yeah, that Six Seinfeld baseline. Yeah, it's one of those things where like those are the kinds of people in high school that be like, oh yeah, you talking shit, and they keep trying to provoke the other person, and like, yeah, what are you gonna do about it? And they just totally pussy out.
Like that one person who thinks they're possessed by demons. This is a person we went to high school with, and I've since found out that my initial theory on this wasn't true, but I for a long time thought I made him stop coming to school because one day in gym class he was being an asshole, and he like kept kicking a volleyball away, and my friend had to keep getting it, and when my friend like got it again, I just turned to the dude and said, hey, could you like stop being an asshole? And he got in my face. He's like, what, you want to fight me? You want to fight me? And I said no. He's like, oh, you don't want to fight me? And I said no, because I'm not 12. And he looked kind of like he didn't really know how to process that, and then he walked away. And then later, this was in gym class, so we're getting changed after gym class. One of his friends walks up to me and goes, hey man, why don't you like do anything in gym? And I've just never wanted to be like to turn to a person more and be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why don't you do anything in gym? One, this was a year where I actually did do shit in gym, so take that, loser. And two, what? That's like you're like, why aren't you excited for math class? Motherfucker, I don't want to be here. Nobody wants to be here.
Welcome to the high school childhood trauma podcast.
Welcome to, hey man, you're in like a building that you don't actually want to be located. You much rather be at home fucking doing heroin and dying in the bathtub. Why aren't you happy that you're here? Why aren't you trying more that you're here, man?
Welcome to the childhood trauma podcast, where only one shot, sponsored by Beefeater, will start as all starts pouring out. Make sure to visit beefeateroflondon.com/pitchshift for 20% off your next therapy visit.
Oh man, I love Eve Beater.
But yeah,
Eve
dude.
Beater, I barely know her.
Wife beater, I do beat her.
I remember once I wrote a story and I said like a character and it was like, oh, he's wearing a wife beater, and whoever was reviewing the story is like, I don't like the name for that piece of clothing. I'm like, I don't either. It's fucking weird, but it's still, you know what I mean when I put it down down there.
Yeah, we gotta cancel wife beater. We gotta cancel Hanes.
That is a weird thing to name a piece of clothing.
Yeah.
That's like if your underwear was called vehicular manslaughter.
Your underwear is called diaper.
Like Willem Dafoe in his burlap diaper.
Yeah, exactly, man.
See, we don't get off on unrelated tangents. It all circles
comes
back
around.
around. Maybe.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Well, you were saying how gym class was the time. Was that the same year that chick got whacked in the face with that, with that hockey stick? Because we were playing crazy kickball, whatever the fuck.
I don't even think we were playing crazy kickball. I think that was one of those games that the gym teachers are like, I don't
give up.
fucking know. Here's just several games put together.
Yeah.
You are playing soccer with hockey sticks and you're hitting a kickball.
Yeah, it's like, all right, we're going to be playing baseball, but instead of actually being on the bases, everyone can be on the same base at one time because we're all based. Every kid is based. No based kid left behind. Thank you, Little B, for talking at that college. What was it, MIT?
I think so. I love all those ones that were just like, oh, it's like kickball, except you could stay on the base as long as you want. And then people would stay on the base as long as they wanted.
Yeah,
You get to like first base, and then you're like, that's a very long way away to second base. And nothing's saying I can't stay here.
Yeah.
So I gotta stay here.
It's all a metaphor for Arrested Development. Go watch Arrested Development. Just not season 4 onward. But yeah, no, the teacher just brings out a big, like they put down hula hoops everywhere. Those are our bases. And then they bring out a fucking trash can full of baseball bats and hockey sticks. And then this one kid, like, was up to bat, and this chick was like standing way too close behind him. And like, because he's carrying a fucking hockey stick, not a baseball bat like you're supposed to, and just goes to like fucking winds him up to go whack this fucking kickball, which we can't actually use for dodgeball anymore because people are pussies. And then he winds it up and whacks this fucking chick in the face so hard it broke her nose, or at least made it bleed. And everyone's like, oh my god, and you and me were just fucking just laughing our asses off.
Was that the year that just every weird fucking thing happened to us in our fourth period gym?
At least. Was it 4th period?
I think it was. I think that was how I remembered. I was like, oh, fourth period is just like...
It's such a non-period.
Well, it was just that point in the day where everyone's like, fuck it, I just want to go home. And when you're in a gym where you already have to be energized and run around and shit, I think that's just where all sanity went out the window. But there was one time we were in gym where... So it wasn't uncommon to see people like filming stuff in the halls and stuff like that.
Digital media class, and people will just kind of be like using it as an excuse to ditch class and just like, hey, can we film this shit post and put it on the air? And then they're like, yeah, I guess.
Well, apparently that was born out of when my brother was at the school. They had like an independent study period, which was just a name for a period where they just walked around and filmed shit. And I think apparently for a period of time there were certain rules in our handbook that were directly inspired by shit my brother did. Like they would bring in a fucking like they would bring in like a portable grill and make pancakes. And so the school passed a thing where it was just like no George Foreman grills. And since it wasn't actually a George Foreman grill, they just kept bringing it in.
And then they brought in George Foreman himself to endorse the grill and their use
and all
of
the
it.
Fat drained into his mouth.
Just like unhinging his jaw, just burning his tongue off and all his taste buds.
That boy's poster for season 2 or Homelander, just a giant carnival mouth. But yeah, so apparently that's like what later birthed the fucking video class. And so it wasn't uncommon to see people filming for shit like that. And then one day, we're just trying to mind our own fucking business in gym.
As you do.
We're playing kickball, and it was one of those things where they like combined 2 classes because we were playing across the entire gym.
Yeah, they moved the divots, the dividers up. They had these dumb fucking dividers that come down from the heavens.
This thing that just loudly just starts squeaking when it starts lowering. It's like, oh, I guess we're only using half the gym today.
No, we want to use the whole gym and talk to all of our friends across all classes. Ha ha, divider go brrr.
We want to talk to our crazy gym teacher who we never had her, but one of the first things she ever said to us as people was, she's like, Jane Lynch in Glee was inspired by me. My hair is not going white. I dye it this color. And we're just sitting there like, what? She was explaining Are we stoned? She was explaining a game 2 seconds ago.
I had her at least in senior year.
Oh, that's right. I think you did. I never had her.
Good on you, dude.
She maintained that the fucking character in Glee was based off her because she kind of looks like Jane Lynch.
Yeah, Jane Lynch visited our high school specifically and aped her character, paid her so many royalties.
Jane Lynch came into Pocono Mountain East, saw that lady, and went, ha! And then walked out and just reinvented her whole persona.
Yeah, so shout outs to Pocono Mountain East High School for inspiring the character of Jane Lynch, the IRL person.
Yeah, it's all because of us. Our school has a fucking Wikipedia page that I don't think is edit protected, so we should take advantage of that at some point. I might be banned from making edits on Wikipedia after changing TJ Miller's name to TJ Miller Sadface, but I don't know. I haven't checked, because I was editing it. It's like, did you know that you could lose your editing privileges if you do this? And I waited in my head, I'm like, worth it. But, I hope no one's fixed that. I haven't checked. I hope it's just still TJ Miller's sad face.
I hope TJ Miller's fixed.
I hope so. I hope he's just in a room somewhere and doesn't get to leave anymore. But, so just wrap this up real quick. Yeah, we were in gym once and some girl just came by doing the sun drop dance from those old commercials. She just did it across the gym. And
Twice!
And there were people over on the side that had cameras and tripods, the whole 9 yards. They weren't fucking filming.
Yeah,
It was from even if they were, they could have only gotten from an unappealing side angle. And most importantly, we never saw this video. It never came up again. So that just leads me to believe that this wasn't for a video. They were just doing that. And you laid on the floor.
I crawled along the dinosaur. Said, welcome to today's sponsor, Sun Drop.
There was one day in gym class where we were playing baseball or something outside.
Yeah, the one time we actually played baseball. It was like a shitty, gloomy day. It's like, that's nice enough to play baseball, right?
Just get out of the school. But
yeah, the rest of the class needs we only have so many dividers.
I ran up to Steve with like a baseball mitt in front of my face, and I said, "Hey, Steve, you want to work at the carnival this winter?" And he just ran and hopped a fence and ran into the woods and ran into another class that was in the woods and just kind of hung out with them for a little bit. And then you came back like right as we were all going back inside, and the teacher got mad at you, and you just
For some reason.
and you just kind of had this reaction of, "Oh, whatever." And she didn't look like she really knew how to respond to that.
No, she wasn't even pissed. She was just like, Steve, get back here. I think she was like, drowsy on like fucking Sudafed PM or something. Just to get her through the day.
We had the best relationships with teachers. We didn't make them angry. We just made them upset and tired.
As you should be. If your teacher isn't looking defeated, all you high schoolers out there, if your teacher doesn't have bags underneath their bags, you're not doing your proper due diligence as a student. Listen to us, two crazy people sitting in a hot room.
I remember once that teacher, she also taught my health class, and she got up to the desk and she just looked fucking wrecked. And she's just like, my dog died. When I went home the other day, I was like, oh, I should do something, but then I just wanted to sleep, and so I just slept for a few hours. What's the number one sign of depression? And we're all just kind of like,
Sleep?
And she's like, that's right.
Sleep! Bringing it back around to the Willem Dafoe.
And then she put on a video for the rest of class and kind of put her head down. I'm just sitting there like, can we leave? Can you leave? Go home.
Was the video a clown crying?
The video of Silence of the Heart. What else is happening in The Mask?
Cut to our mid-roll in the movie of our sponsor, cocaine.
Just in the middle of the movie, just, hey.
Cocaine?
Just do cocaine.
Just pussy?
Just rub it all in your gums.
Just gotta numb them gums.
It didn't hurt a bit when they pulled my teeth out.
Yeah, I already finished my meal. So we have Crispin Glover as the main villain, Praetorius.
That's right. So we had a whole journey of discovery when we were just looking up Mask characters, and we came across Praetorius, who, as far as I can tell, only existed in the Mask animated series, which I This kind of, it's on topic, but there's the Mask animated show has a great fucking theme song, and the show itself is whatever. But the theme song is great. If
Hell
we,
yeah.
we should watch an episode of that and then stop immediately after the theme song is over.
Yeah, the theme song is "I'm the Mask, I'm the Mask."
But
So Praetorius is this guy who surgically removed his own head and put little spider legs on it, and it acts independent of his body.
there was something specific about this that I think I'm gonna find out. I'm mainly just having a stroke on how to spell Praetorius, but
Praetorius.
There's a scene that plays when fucking Patrick Swayze is found out to be a pedophile. Watch Donnie Darko, or don't, it doesn't fucking matter.
It matters.
It's a good movie. Don't watch the fucking
Director's cut?
director's cut. Yeah, because he changed all the music and he added in all the shit to make the story make sense. It's like, it doesn't have to.
Yeah, he added in Notorious by Notorious B.I.G.
Well, he took away that fucking Echo and the Bunnymen song that, like, opens up the movie, and he, like, I think he put in because it's all, like, what he originally wanted to use.
Yeah.
And he put in Head Over Heels by Tears for Fears, and then just from the get-go, the whole thing feels wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's like, again, one of those studio interference actually working out for the better kind of movies.
I think less studio interference, more just budget. I think
Yeah.
that's a thing that happens a lot, is you have these, like, low-budget filmmakers who actually do pretty well, and then they start getting bigger budgets, and they become M. Night Shyamalan. And if you need a specific example, M. Night Shyamalan, I just said it. Because that's the thing, I think even he said that, like, back in the day, like, people put, like, such restraints on him, and so he was able to, like, he had to sort of find creative ways to do things. And more recently, they stopped giving him those restraints because they're like, you're a genius. And I think there's a story of, there's a whole book about this, but, you know, a book. I have to motion to remember what a book is. But
Is that one of those like really thick magazines?
it's like there's those things in it that, like, they make noises if you put them together.
Syllables?
Wards.
Warburton?
War.
What is it good for?
What is it good for? But yeah, there's a whole book about how he was like he was trying to get, like, Lady in the Water made, and he I guess, like, Disney apparently funded, like, most of his movies up until a point, and he was talking to whoever his, like, contact was there, and he, like, lays the whole thing, and she was confused, and she was just like, she kind of was talking, and he could tell she basically thought the story needed some work and stuff like that. And there's a part in the book where it's like, I asked her how long she thinks it would take to fix all these things. Like 2 months, 2 weeks, what? And she had a look that said, not 2 months, not 2 weeks, not 2 years, not ever. And
You tell me how long you think it'll take to fix this.
well, he was talking to her, and apparently she's like, I don't get it. And he's like, oh, so you're saying I've lost my mind? And apparently this is, like, a direct quote from him. Where it's just you're sitting down. Imagine you're sitting down and you're like, yeah, I don't know, like, you know, this is my money at the end of the day, and I'm giving you this stuff to make this, so I just want to make sure it's the best thing to be. Oh, so you're saying I've lost my mind? I didn't say that at all. What are you talking about? You're saying I've gone completely insane. You're saying I don't pay attention to my wife enough, and I need to spend more time with the kids instead of going out to dinner with Disney executives and pitching bedtime stories that I tell to my kids. I don't have time to hang out with my kids. I gotta think of bedtime stories and then sell them to the Disney company and convince everybody I'm fucking nuts.
Yeah, it's simple. It's like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P.
I just see the thing peaking just as you're doing all of that. But, oh shit, Pretorius is played by Tim Curry.
Oh, nice.
But
We should get Tim Curry to reprise his role in full wheelchair and all.
He is in a chair in this picture that they have on his wiki, so.
Yeah, fair enough.
There was a
Chair
thing,
enough.
There was a thing recently where somebody tweeted, like, days like today, I wonder what Tim Curry's doing. And he actually retweeted them and said,
Yeah.
I'm eating Three Musketeers, and every time I put one in my mouth, I'm saying, all for one and all for me, or something like that. I'm like, I'm glad you're doing all right.
What a fucking G. Shout outs to Tim Curry.
Yeah,
Next week's guest.
I think as far as I know, the only thing he's been in since all that happened was that, like, terrible TV Rocky Horror Picture Show with Laverne Cox.
Yeah, the thing that completely ruins the purpose of the shock value of Frankenfurter.
I didn't understand that. Where it's like, oh, we got an actual trans person to play Frankenfurter. It's like Frankenfurter wasn't trans.
No, he's just a crossdresser.
Yeah, transvestite and transsexual are not the same thing.
Yeah, check your privilege, idiots.
Yeah, come to PitchShift for hardline definitions on how things in the world work. And come to PitchShift to avoid watching that shitty fucking Rocky Horror thing.
Pitch shift. We know what's best for you.
Nuts. We're gonna get that on shirts. Oh yeah. Just real quick thing. I noticed somebody, maybe it was my cousin, but if not, this is an even funnier story. But so I have some merch for my YouTube channel. I'm not plugging that because it's all terrible. I made it as it's more so an obligation of like, here's a few little sort of inside jokes from the videos, and I put them on shirts. And
You must forgive Wimp Low. He made his merch as a joke.
Well, I put from the. There's that one video where I talk about Arby's owning everything. You're eating that beef. But
I'm listening.
There was that one video where I talk about the opening bit has like a joke about Arby's buying everything. And so I made a shirt for my merch thing that says on the back, it just says property of Arby's. And my cousin said he would buy one, and I sent him the link, so it's very possible he did buy one. But if not, somebody else just bought this property of Arby's shirt and is walking around with it. And God bless you, whoever you are. You put like a couple dollars in my pocket.
Hell yeah.
That I probably should.
We'll have to owe to Arby's.
That's the thing. Was like, there's what I have on the merch store is that, which has the Arby's logo. There's one that's just full on from just a frame from one of my videos, so that's fine. And then there is that one that's Rupert Wainwright's head, and it says, "This man ate my son." And I don't know if he could sue me over that, but
It's transformative enough. He's a transformer.
It would be funny if it did, because it'd be like, Your Honor, you can't prove he didn't eat my son.
Case closed. I rest my case.
Go watch all of Rupert Wainwright's filmography.
Yeah, mostly just watch his Millionaire Matchmaker episode on Bravo.
Watch his Millionaire Matchmaker episode, and then watch Blank Check, and go, oh, I can kind of see how these were made. These are from the same creative mind. Because that movie just ends with the fucking kid making out with
The
the lady.
30-year-old lady, dude.
It's not, it's like, she gives him like a note, it's like, oh, call me when you're a little bit older. And I think, don't quote me on this, because it's not like I rewatch Blank Check religiously as far as you know.
Or watch it for the first time.
But there's the part towards the end where she's like, oh, call me in like 10 years. And he's like, well, let's say like 6 or something. He like says a like smaller number, and I think she's like, okay, I'll kiss you now, child.
Yeah, verbatim, line for line in the movie. Wasn't it a Disney movie? Or
It was a Disney movie. It's the only reason I haven't reviewed it, because I don't want Disney to come to my house and shoot me.
Yeah, no wonder Disney bought out Miramax. They're trying to do some damage control.
Hey, Disney, Fox, it's real great that you fucking, you just do automatic worldwide blocks when your content ID catches something.
Yeah, fuck you, Disney. All my homies hate Disney.
I'll probably block this because they probably somehow own our voices.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyway, as we were saying, Crispin Glover, he plays Pretorius.
Yeah, that
Topic we were always on.
What's up with that? It's a topic I was always on.
Welcome to Yelling, the show.
Oh, it's the show about yelling.
But yeah, so we got Crispin Glover as Pretorius, and here's Pretorius's, just the first paragraph of his history segment under the Mask Wiki, which
Maskipedia.
it's the mask, the-mask.fandom.com.
So it was already a registered domain, is what you're saying.
Yes, they had to make do.
This is already the boneless Mask Wiki.
So first, his little blurb in the beginning is, Pretorius is the main antagonist from The Mask, the animated series. Being the most recurring adversary of The Mask in the cartoon, having appeared in all 3 seasons of the series, he can be considered to be the archenemy. I just like that he can be considered the
It could be. I don't know. It's up to you guys. Why did you tell me who the archenemy is?
Said it was written by The Mask. He's like, he can be if he wants.
I don't know. Has he talked about me recently?
But the first thing of his history section says, Pretorius's This fucked me up last time, and it's not going any better. Pretorius is a madman who had his own head removed from his body and placed on tiny spider-like robotic legs, which it could attach to a larger android body. His plans always revolved around either obtaining or controlling the Mask of Loki. Pretorius is one of the few characters in the series aware of the mask's true identity, or as part of some increasingly insane science experiments, which, if it carried out, would result in the death of thousands or even the end of mankind. He mostly pronounces Stanley Ipkiss's last name as Ipkiss. That way you pronounce it.
Yeah, very distinct.
It just says, pronounced name as Ipkiss. Cool, good. I guess he's doing thing right. Does it just say that for everybody? Just every character in the show is like they pronounce his last name as the way it's supposed to be pronounced.
Got him. So initially it was Crispin Glover as Pretorius. I think we should get Mitch McConnell to play Pretorius. Because earlier we were talking about how Mitch McConnell looks like he was reanimated and is constantly being lobotomized in order to move around like a meat puppet. And that he switched his head onto Herman Cain's dead body. Either that or it's just horrible rigor mortis with all the blood flow going to his hands.
Let's look this up, or maybe I'll put this in just like I did with the thing with the fucking picture of skin, just sort of slowly scrolling across the thing. Mitch McConnell. Something happened to that, like, that motherfucker looks like Dumbledore in the Harry Potter movies after he tried to, like, destroy a Horcrux when he just had a fucked up hand. Like, he looks like he punched a truck. But it's also, like his hand looks all bruised and fucked up, but it's also around his face. So I'm like, did you just get hit by a car? What's happening? None of these people look right.
He's been struck by a smooth criminal. Or what was the parody version that Alien Ant Farm did?
Oh yeah, the version of Smooth Criminal that Alien Ant Farm did on their album was like a hidden track called Slick Thief. Because they didn't want to release like a cover song and become a one-hit wonder band mainly associated with a cover song. The past is funny.
And then they made 3 different music videos for the same song.
They had like 4 different music videos for the same song. There's a song called Movies by Alien Ant Farm that if you look it up, you're just going to have several music videos and they're all official. They're all from the band. They just kept thinking this song would take off. Each time the public at large was like, yeah. Not very good.
They were pushing that song hard for SummerSlam. Listen to the official theme of SummerSlam 2020. What the fuck is it called? I forget.
That's it. That's just called. What the fuck is it called? I forget. The Slick Thief.
I'm a slick thief.
Every song should be called Slick Thief.
Yeah, Slick Rick.
So hold on, something just caught my eye about Pretorius. In the episode Sister Mask, Pretorius did eventually gain the mask, as well as in the episode Sister Mask, Pretorius did eventually gain the mask, and as with Dorian Tyrell, he retained his own personality while wearing it. While the mask is said to release one's own inhibitions, those who have no ambitions seem to retain full conscious control while wearing the mask, such as the Joker in the DC crossover.
Yeah, he released his inhibitions. He felt the rain on your skin.
No one else can
mask
feel
it for you.
Put on the mask.
Put the mask on. No one else can put the mask on your face.
Welcome to Impromptu Musical, the podcast.
Welcome to The Voice.
But yeah, so that's we got Crispin Glover playing Mitch McConnell, playing Pretorius. And you know, there was actually a twist about in the episode Sister Mask, because that episode's actually all about Stanley Ipkiss's sister coming, and she gets the mask. And there's a twist about his sister. Do you want to know what the twist about his sister was?
They fucked.
That was the twist. She was a skeleton. Don't quote me on any of that, because I just made all of that up as an excuse to use that button on the soundboard. Soundboard! Any excuse, even if I have to make one.
Hell yeah, Sounders. Dude, when I was working at the Dick store, someone stole like a 3-pack of Sounders. like urethral sounders. Oh, if you're not familiar with what the sounder is, all right, imagine sticking this vape pen into your dick and then just going up and down kinda, and then you come real hard, and then like imagine that when you come, it goes like out of your dick hole. And then for the people listening on the audio only version, imagine that a straw just flew out of like a blowhole, and that's what a urethral sounding is like.
Imagine an e-cigarette just flew out of a bearded man's mouth, 'cause that's what I had to see.
That's
I can't wait to edit this and just, as you're explaining that whole thing, just zooming on my face as I'm just sitting here like,
yeah, you're gonna have a time into After Effects.
I'm morph cutting I'm editing it how I edited out breaths in the first episode, because we fucked up the audio on the first episode. I'm just going to make a cut that's just all breaths for this episode.
Yeah, just like that fucking Randy Savage. That's enough to get me to the boiling point.
There's a little sample.
Hell yeah, sample that in your next album for whoever listening to this with the creative mind.
I was actually very tempted to sample us singing Devil All the Time and just take a little bit so you could, like, just parts where you could, like, where we're just hitting certain notes but you can't really tell what we're singing. And just make a remix, and then when people are like, that's a banging track, as they would say, because, you know, I know how to make music and I'm not terribly inept.
Yeah, and people say banging in the public lexicon.
Yeah, I've been. You've seen that movie where Brendan Fraser comes out of a time capsule or whatever the fuck? I'm him. But
Hipping with the kids.
I'm Brendan Fraser. You know how else I am?
Have y'all ever seen Wreck-It Ralph?
Kanye West.
Yeah, doesn't even fit. It didn't even fit. It doesn't have to.
Yeah, neither do the urethral sounders. That's the fun part. You make it fit. You gotta train your cock in order to take the urethral sounding. And it's like, dude, it was only like $5. Why'd you have to take it?
He didn't want anybody. He didn't want a record of that somewhere. He probably thinks you were just like writing down everything about him as soon as he came in. It's like, that guy's trying to buy a urethral sounder. I know the type.
Yeah, you've seen one, you've seen them all.
You know the type, loud as a motorbike, but wouldn't pop a urethral sounder in a fruit fight. But
speaking of sounds, Bob Odenkirk is Odin, and he purposely goes out of his
sounds.
way. He purposely goes out of his way to emphasize Odin and Odenkirk. He refers to himself as Odenkirk.
Oh yeah, we should talk about another sound associated with this movie. Even though it is a dark and gritty reboot, we're still keeping the Cuban Pete number from the existing Mask movie, except this time it's going to be a version done by Crazy Frog.
Yes, one of the only other 3 songs in the entire movie. The rest is this kind of ambient sound, just cars going by.
They call me Crazy Frog. I'm the king of
Crazy Frog.
ding ding. When I shake my maracas, they go ding 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 ding.
So,
There's a whole fucking Wikipedia article on
Crazy Frog?
on Crazy Frog, but there's a specific section about issues with like British television where the ads just kept running over and over again, and so many people kept writing into the television stations like, please stop showing this. There's just this tiny frog man that's annoying and has an exposed dick. Please stop. And then the people are basically like, listen, we're just the station. We don't, like, someone's putting it on there, but that's out of our control. Please stop writing us angry letters about the frog. And then it was this thing where there was this whole legal thing where basically it was pretty much established, yeah, you don't need to write these TV stations. They can't really do anything about it. And then they just kept getting messages about the Crazy Frog.
It's like, hey, YouTube, stop posting these videos with this frog with this exposed dick. It's like, we can't help it. We just host the service. That sounds like a real Max Headroom kind of deal. Like when someone just hijacked like the TV station and like the frequency and just like had like Max Headroom like mask on and started moving the camera.
That's the modern equivalent. Is somebody took control of British TV stations and only played
Crazy Frog. Yeah, that's true rap rebel radio media.
Oh God, that would be the type of foreign terrorism that we would partake in. Just not to hurt anybody or do anything like that. Just to force some people to listen to some really shitty music.
Yeah, like the shags.
Yeah.
That's what we're only going to subject our kids to that. It's not technically child abuse if they're over the age of 18, you see.
But when we're the president, keep in mind everybody is our child, and we will subject all of them to the shags.
Well, yes, because we all created them with the purification of crack water. We'll save that for when election season comes around. I mean, it is election season, but we're going to wait until like the very last minute to get those write-in campaigns voting.
I like...
That makes sense.
I like all...
Write-in campaign voting, that's the name of our band.
I like all the parts of the show where people are just going, following, and lost blind spot for whatever the hell these people are talking about.
All of our fans are Hideki Kamiya, and they're all blocking us for speaking English. I mean, English, air quotes.
We're speaking our own special language. We speak crazy
Frog.
We speak crazy frog.
We speak exclusively in dings.
Oh yeah, so speaking of Crazy Frog and speaking of him in our movie, we got Bob Odenkirk as Odin. Do you want to tell him who's playing Loki?
The man himself, Marky Mark Wahlberg.
I just like, I'm looking at the list, and we got Mark Wahlberg as Loki, and then directly under it, we have score by Fred Durst.
Also written and directed and
score is
produced.
Crossed out and written and directed is written in its place.
Yes, and one of the other three songs in the movie, aside from our Mask themed song and our Pledge Allegiance of the Mask, is Behind Blue Eyes, exclusively by Fred Durst, because in this house, we sip whiskey and listen to Limp Bizkit, you heard? I mean, that's gin, but whatever.
Not only will it be a Fred Durst, it won't even be Fred Durst's existing version of Behind Blue Eyes.
We'll commission a brand new version of Behind Blue Eyes 2020.
It's called Behind Green Mask. No one knows what it's like to be the mask man. To be the ass man.
Behind Green Mask.
Welcome to Pitch Shift, where you get one terrible song at least each episode.
We get more like one terrible song every fucking 15 minutes.
This is all, we're gonna auto-tune just the entire podcast and start releasing it as hour-long songs.
Yes, Auto-Tune the Pitch Shift. The very hip and topical YouTube channel, Auto-Tune the News. We brokered an exclusive deal with them.
I'm a hip bitch, I like to
Pitch Shift. Woo! I'm a pitch.
I'm a pitch bitch. I'm a pitch bitch, I like the bitch.
I'm pitch, bitch.
But so yeah, we are. Not only do we have a new version of Behind Blue
Green
Eyes,
Mask.
Behind Green Mask. We got a score by Fred Durst. All the other stuff is by Fred Durst, except for the Crazy Frog, Cuban Pete, and the Pledge Allegiance to the Mask.
A song that was just 300 years in the making. I'm sure when Francis Scott Key was like sitting in his holding cell in that ship being bombarded by fucking artillery, he knew that song would be transformative enough to be relevant once again in the public lexicon. Yeah, you always gotta love those kids in school. They were all like hip and edgy. He's like, I'm not gonna stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the Mask. This country's bullshit.
I don't even like the Mask. I prefer Son of the Mask. But yeah, so we got that. We got our cover of Behind Blue Eyes. One of three songs in the. Oh, it's literally just written there.
We prepared for this.
And do you want to tell him who we've got pegged? We already got him on the phone. He's very interested. Do you want to let the audience at home know who we've got pegged to play the love interest, who will just be named Love Interest?
It's not that so much that he's pegged. I think he's the one doing the pegging. So we have Dolph Lundgren as love interest number 42 in a brunette wig with his blonde. It's always like kind of tilted to the side with like his blonde spiked hair.
He's got that Kaji haircut.
Well, he was not too shy. Hush, mask the mask.
What? It would be great if Dolph Lundgren was specifically the love interest of The Mask, not Stanley Ipkiss. Like, he knows who he is, and so every time he's like, Stanley! And Stanley's like, yeah, Dolph Lundgren's here, yeah. And he just always turns around, and Dolph Lundgren's like, why can't I just be with the one I love? I love him in fucking Masters of the Universe. He's just explaining to fucking Courtney Cox. It's like, it's this cylindrical thing. It has lights on it. And she's like, I know what that is. Watch Masters of the Universe. It's fucking awful, and it bankrupted the company that made it.
Yeah, watch it for such classic scenes as Skeletor homoerotically whipping He-Man with a laser whip, and then falling for 15 minutes while screaming, and then
And if you zoom in on his face, by the way, when he's falling at the end, his mouth is not moving.
and then in the very kind of beginning act of the movie, Man-at-Arms and a few other dudes are just like trying to rob a KFC.
The best part of that movie is there's a part where they're just all eating fried chicken, and the daughter's like, "Wait, this used to be a living thing," and Man-at-Arms is like, "Yeah." like she's just mortified by what she's eating, and Man-at-Arms is just like,
What do they eat in the fucking Eternia?
Well, that not only does it imply that they don't eat meat in Eternia, it also implies that despite that, Man-at-Arms knows what meat is. He's eaten it before. What's he been doing?
Just sneaking off and eating snarf.
I mean, that movie has that fucking thing that's basically snarf, because in the fucking show and shit like that, there's a little wizard named Orko who has the fucking hat,
Yeah.
and you only see his yellow eyes, which,
Yeah.
if depicted in realistic like graphics and shit, would probably be fucking terrifying. It's like, oh, our friend Orko is here, just glowing eyes and smoke, but.
Yeah, there is a very similar sound we have for that. It's produced by.
Steven Spielberg.
That's the kind of sound it makes when Orko is coming near you.
It's just I think Orko is near. How can you tell? Well, my hand is frozen.
My hand's turning black.
But they had the fucking little creature in there. His name was like fucking
Snarkos?
what was it? It was like I don't fucking know. I was gonna say
Grimbo?
Grondo, and that's not a thing anywhere. But yeah,
Santa, and it's Grondo.
but yeah, for whatever the fuck it Gwildor, I think is his name. There's a part in the movie where he does that. He goes, I hate it. Don't watch that movie.
I don't like it. I don't like it upset.
But we will be bringing back Canon Pictures. We're digging them out. We're bailing them out with our government money to save them from that terrible Master of the Universe movie they made so that we can now make our Mask movie.
Maskers of the Universe. That's the name of the
There
movie,
we
dude.
go. We did it.
Yeah.
Show's over. No more episodes.
I love that you high-five my knuckles.
But, yeah, I love it. Dress is played by Dolph Lundgren in a wig. Also plays Dog Lundgren.
He's called Dog Lundgren in the movie and in the credits, both opening and closing, and it's just a dog with CGI Dolph Lundgren face.
I like that what you have written directly under it is just in quotation marks, I'm the Mask, Willem Dafoe.
I mean, he said it.
That's how we just hold that against it. It's like, oh, you don't want to be in our movie, but we've got a binding contract right here. You said I'm the Mask. It says it right here in Steve's handwriting. My girlfriend goes to another school, that's why you can't see her.
No, dude, it's...
I'm just gonna say that joke every episode from here on out. We said it last week too.
Hell yeah, dude. No, I I imagine like after the Pledge of the Mask, we just have a quote at the beginning.
I'm the Mask, Willem Dafoe. You know how they always have like those Entertainment Weekly covers like in the lead up to movies and they have like the whole cast there. We just got one that's just Willem Dafoe and it just says I'm the Mask. He's just not in the costume or anything.
He just fucking colors his face in with green Sharpie.
They didn't do it. He just goes to every magazine stand and just draws on. And they're like, isn't that Willem Dafoe? He's like,
He just hisses and slithers away into a gutter.
he just flies into the sky. You just hear, ah! Slowly getting further and further away. Mask!
Oh, killing a mask is bad luck, in.
Bad luck to kill a mask. Bad luck to kill a Dolph Lundgren.
Bad luck to kill a Dog Lundgren. Very little meat in these Dog Lundgrens.
The point you have written underneath that just says gun mask. Which I'm just now remembering. We theorized that since you can put the mask on things and it like changes their like you put the mask on a dog, it becomes the dog mask. Or you put it on a mobster and he becomes a fucking Land of Confusion puppet.
Or you put it on Jamie Kennedy and his hair becomes plastic.
Yeah, you put it on Jamie Kennedy. He gets a ginger plastic wig and a fucking musical number that goes on for 2 goddamn years. But yeah, so I think the theory is if you put the mask on a gun, you could probably like it would take over the gun and the gun would just shoot out like just
words?
from its mouth, just like words that hit people with the force of bullets. And that's the twist at the end of the movie is the love interest played by Dolph Lundgren puts the mask on a gun. Dolph Lundgren puts the mask on a gun. He's like, your time here is over. And then he shoots Seinfeld, not even the character he's playing. He just actually shoots Seinfeld, and we kept it in the movie.
It's all we had.
It was part of his dying wish. He said something about putting this in a movie. He might have been saying, "Don't put this in the movie," but we only heard "put this in the movie."
And we
We
did.
only heard, "I'm dating a 17-year-old." It's so weird when you go to meet your girlfriend's parents and you're like, hey, back off, man, I'm older than you. I think this is just Shaggy. It's slowly becoming Shaggy.
Like Zoe Scoop, I thought you was gonna be pretty cool when you said you were a talking dog, but now I just realized you're autistic. I'm not autistic. I just have speech impediment.
So,
Welcome to our next episode where we talk about the merits of dogs having autism.
Zoink Scoop, I didn't think a human could get a Great Dane pregnant, but here we are.
Oh, we're gonna be. You gotta abort it.
Zoink Scoop, just take a tumble down these stairs. We gotta get Tom Holland to play Shaggy.
Tom Holland's play everyone, dude. He's playing Nathan Drake.
Yeah, I saw a picture of that, and everyone's like, "Oh, I totally see it now." And they're like, "I didn't see it before, but I see it now." Like he's wearing a different shirt.
Yeah, dude. He's wearing a dirty shirt, and he okay.
I'm sure he'll be fine in that movie, but just everybody like, "Oh, I see it now."
Yeah, dude. I mean, for like better casting than fucking Marky Mark.
Yeah, well, now we don't have to worry about fucking Nathan Drake just taking. Hey, you're supposed to be doing this thing over here. Why are you heading towards the Vietnamese border with like bloody fists?
The fists are already preambled, bloodied.
He found some people outside the border. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Mark Wahlberg fucking blinded a Vietnamese man, and we just don't talk about it.
We're talking about it now.
Well, yeah, but we're gonna get killed by him, so it's fine.
Well, we're not Vietnamese.
That's true. That's what saves us.
Let's just say that flight would have gone down with a lot more blood if I were on board.
There would have been a lot of blood in that first class cabin.
Mark Wahlberg.
Flight to Vietnam.
Landed safely.
We have fun here.
Yeah, we don't want to name the specific YouTuber, but didn't defame them. Fuck Mark Wahlberg.
I don't want to name the YouTuber because he is Mark Wahlberg. We fucked it all up.
Sorry, man. I got a little too ahead of myself.
He's gonna come beat the shit out of us.
You're gonna come and beat the shit.
We should get a fucking mobster movie where Mark Wahlberg just plays every Italian.
Not you. Not you and not you. Speaking of views or something that rhymes with you, our movie is going to have product placement in the first degree, but it's going to be sponsored by products that we made up, such as Boo-Young Cubes. That's right. It's a candy corn flavored Boo-Young Cube that you can only buy in the Halloween season. It's sold all year round, but you can only buy it during Halloween.
It's in those things that they lock up like baby formula.
Yeah, because people just keep stealing baby formula and hair products and shit.
Well, so apparently, like, some of the most common stolen items are baby formula and, like, razors. And that's why you'll see them, like, both locked up. But here's my thought process. If razors are, like, I can't speak for baby formula. I don't have a kid, so maybe that shit's pricey. I imagine it can be. But as someone who does have to buy razors are too fucking expensive.
Yeah,
and if
dude.
they weren't locked up, I would definitely steal them.
Fuck yeah, all the time. Like, I go down to CVS and I buy like the fucking shitty store brands. I get razor bumps all over my fucking neck because I have a weird shitty baby neck. And it's like I got razor bumps and shit. I buy like the sensitive skin
Well, you gotta
fucking.
find that baby who has your neck.
Yeah, we just gotta switch. Like Mitch McConnell as Praetorius.
It turns out you're not actually supposed to have a beard. That's from the baby.
Yeah, the baby was Leonidas. And
Yes.
And the hits Critical Sensation Meet the Spartans.
where he fights Britney Spears or whatever happens in that fucking movie.
Who cares?
We're gonna remake superhero movie.
I mean, that movie already has some funny jokes in it. Leslie Nielsen's like the best part.
No, this is healthy cough blood.
And so is Shooter McGavin.
I still think one of the best, like, there's a handful of lines in that movie, but I think two of the best are from Shooter McGavin.
Yeah.
Where it's like, no, this is healthy cough blood. And then the second one, okay, to be fair, this one's more from Drake Bell. But the second one where it's like, these things can cut through diamonds. Joke's on you. I'm not wearing any diamonds. Welcome to the podcast where we specifically recount Freeberg and Seltzer movies. I don't even think they did that one. So maybe that's why it's actually watchable in parts.
Tune in next week for a disaster movie.
Tune in next week where we'll have Freeberg and Seltzer on the podcast and we call them fucking hacks for an hour.
More like fuck Berg and shit sandwich. Got him.
Classic humor. But yeah, so our movie is sponsored by Boo Leon Cubes.
Blue.
Candy corn flavored Boo Leon Cubes. And do you want to talk about who our second sponsor is?
Yes, America's favorite crack trademark.
Sorry. A piece of paper with crack TM written on it. Oh, we mentioned hard drugs again. We hit the criteria.
Yeah, actual high five that time, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, you had one of those things you stick in your dick in your hand.
Yeah, I had to use my sounder.
So you never stopped illustrating the bits. So by terms of imagination land, where we live most of the time, that's still what that is.
Precisely.
It's like it. You just imagine things and it's true.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why it was passed on from generation to generation and I never watched it.
But yeah, so just to recount, Mask, what we call it? It's a dark and gritty Zack Snyder-esque Mask movie with Crazy Frog version of Cuban Pete. We got the cold open with the Pledge of Allegiance to the Mask. The mask falls off Batista's face because his face is too big for the tiny mask. We got Jerry Seinfeld, who I've just now noticed that you literally just wrote Jerry. Jerry Seinfeld as the main character with Willem Dafoe playing the actual mask. We got Crispin Glover /
Miss McConnell.
Mitch McConnell as Pretorius. Bob Owen Kirk as Odin. Mark Wahlberg as Loki, if we could pull him away from beating up Vietnamese people. Written, directed, scored by Fred Durst. We got that end credits version of Behind Green Mask. We got a love interest by Dolph Lundgren, who was also playing the dog. We got Gun Mask. We got I'm the Mask by Willem Dafoe. We got product placement by Bouillon Cubes and by Crack. Surprisingly, we actually, I know I saw it made that thing up for like if we introduced a lore character. I don't think we did. I don't think we introduced a lore character this round.
We did not.
But we did stay on topic and we talked about the whole thing.
Yes, we absolutely stayed on topic 100% of the time.
Yes, this thing that planning out this show has always been fun because it's always like, how long are we gonna talk about this thing? Like a half hour? Yeah, sure. And then we've been talking about this for an hour and 19 minutes.
That's a whole goddamn movie in itself, man.
Pretty much. That's the thing. Is our podcast is if someone wants to do a whole hour and a half long animation to it, we could just make a movie ourselves. It won't be good.
No.
Might be animated well because we wouldn't be doing that.
It'll be Our Thief and the Cobbler.
It just takes years and years, and then when people finally see it, they're like, I think this is ripping off Aladdin, and we're like, we're being make first.
Hey, it's done when it's done. What's Ryan done is done.
Still your crowning achievement of Facebook fame. But yeah, so I think that's a good one for this episode. I don't think we had any other ideas that we really developed as much as we did this one.
Not nearly.
We hope this has been fun for all of you, because Lord knows it was torture for us.
We're just sweating. We're loudly sweating.
Everything smells like balls. But, no, it smells fine. But it is hot as fuck in here. But,
yeah, it has nothing to do with these bright fucking lights.
No, that has nothing to do with it. Do you also like that they're not even pointing at us? I pointed them at the ceiling because this is mainly a white room, so I'm mainly just bouncing it off on us. I think you can kind of see it.
Yeah, you can see the glisten on our eyebrow.
But, so we should wrap this up before we run out of batteries on everything. But
that was in sync.
Yeah, great. So thanks so much for checking out Pitch Shift. This is a show where we pitch the worst movies never made. If you'd like to send us some pitches that you're thinking of, we got lots of new ideas for stuff that's we're going to be trying out soon, so very excited for you to see that. But go find us over at pitchshiftpc@gmail.com.
At gmail.com. We also just started an Instagram. Well, Andy started it.
And I'm totally keeping up with it. And I have so many fucking Instagrams. It's so tiring.
Yeah, so I'm tired as well. So there's also PitchShiftCast on Twitter. There's also us on TuneIn, Spotify, iTunes, or whatever the fuck it's called now. I'm a boomer.
Yeah, I think it's like Apple Podcasts.
Apple
now.
Podcasts.
It might still be iTunes. I still have iTunes on my computer, so I guess that's still around in some capacity. But yeah, we're on Apple Podcasts. We're on YouTube, where if you're watching the video version of this, that's...
You already know that.
Yeah, that's where you are. Or even if you're listening to the audio version I've been doing, because I'm going to try and keep doing that. We'll put up the video version first and put up an audio version for anybody who doesn't want, like, the distractions and stuff like that. But yeah, so you got some ideas you want to tell us about? Be sure to send those to the email or to our Twitter or to just anything that can get a hold of us. Put it in a bottle, and attach it to an arrow, and fire it through this window that is behind this dresser in Steve's house.
Hopefully it will strike one of us, if not both.
I'm just looking for a way out at this point. But yeah, so thanks so much for listening. Glad you guys came by. I think we'll get one more use out of the fucking soundboard. And here's a little sneak preview of our writing session for next week's episode. It goes a little something like this. It's gonna be fun to edit.
Hell yeah.
Just both of us just stomping, just I hope you appreciate the effort I went through to find that. You know how fucking hard it is to find an old Flash video from fucking Weeble stuff that's just called So many. If you don't hit the right amount of H's, you're fucked. But anyway, thanks so much for checking this out, guys. It really means so much to have fans listening and stuff like that. And we will see you in the next episode. Do you want to sign off with our classic catchphrase?
I'm the mask, I'm the mask, I'm the mask, I'm the mask.
There we go. That's it. We're sorry. Thanks so much for stopping by, guys. See you next week.